Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick comparison between the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 and, of course, the brand new Note 9. Now, can you tell which is which? I hope so. I know it's tough. So we've got a 6.3-inch Super AMOLED on the left on the Note 8, a 6.4-inch Super AMOLED on the right on the Note 9. You can pick up the Note 8 now for under $700 US, which I think is a bargain for what is still a top-notch handset. Of course, the brand new Note 9, $1,000 US for the 128 gig model we're looking at here, and of course, $1,250 for the 512 storage capacity that has 8 gigs of RAM as opposed to the 6 that this packs. Now, both of these phones have the exact same resolution on their Super AMOLED displays, a little bit higher brightness on the Note 9. We've got a larger battery capacity on the Note 9. We've moved from 3,300 milliamp hours to 4,000, which Samsung claims gives you all-day performance. I've noticed that there definitely is a little more longevity. I don't see, even at max brightness, which I do have going on right now on both handsets, I have not seen any sort of fast drain. It's definitely more of a trickle than what I'm used to with my Note 8. There is a screen protector on my Note 8. Bear that in mind. The Note 8 is black. And of course, the new Note 9, only two colors to choose from at launch, which were the ocean blue and the purple, pink, lavender. So essentially, beyond the screen and the battery, the other thing to point out, they're both running Oreo. They both have, of course, S Pens, difference being that now we've got a different color S Pen that does more than just write. It is also a remote shutter for your camera. So if you're taking a selfie or setting up a portrait of the family, you can do that with your yellow or lavender new Bluetooth-enabled S Pen. You've also got some new camera options that I've gone over, but really, everything else has pretty much stayed the same. I'm going to put these side by side. We'll start at the top, and you can see they are almost identical. The SIM and expandable storage tray in the exact same location. Microphones, exact same location. On the right side of the handset, you can see the power button has moved up from where it was on the Note 8, so that was a clear change that was made. Not sure why. I think that was a good location they had to begin with. All of our sensors on the front end and our actual 8 megapixel front-facing camera also in the same location. As we move to the left-hand side of the handsets, you can see also, again, a move up from the Note 8 in the Note 9 for the volume rocker and Bixby button. And of course, Bixby's role, as I mentioned previously, has been expanded, and that was to be expected. Now, the Note 9 is a little bit wider than the Note 8, but otherwise, they're almost exactly the same size, which is impressive considering we do have that upped battery capacity that I was just talking about. As I put the S Pen back in, you will notice again the same exact orientation here on your USB Type-C ports, speaker, headphone jack, microphone, pinhole, just as there is one at the top. And then cameras. Now, as I mentioned before, we still have two cameras, that two-camera system, a fingerprint scanner that has been relocated from on the Note 8 being right next to the cameras to now being underneath them, which is a much more natural orientation. Camera performance, still, a 12 megapixel camera on the back there, 8 megapixel on the front, and I don't know what that is. I didn't select it. That's not where I live, so don't start looking to try to find me. But not a huge improvement, more like software, and that's what I expect to see more of from the Note 9. It's not that the synthetic benchmarks are going to blow away what you have with the Note 8, even with that latest and greatest Qualcomm 845 CPU and the Adreno 630 that it's running on. It's more about optimization and the software just being more current, and of course having a longer software roadmap with the Note 9 than you will with the Note 8. The Note 8 is definitely the better buy in terms of value for the money. You're still getting a fantastic handset, very capable, and the only real things that you're missing from the Note 9, storage capacity, again, 64 gigs versus 128 or 512. Yes, you can expand that with a micro SD card, but bear in mind that a lot of applications will not write to micro SD cards. So when I was using, my Rilo camera, I mentioned this in my update about the Note 9, it was very annoying to me. Yes, Rilo did update it, so you can now edit on the actual camera itself, but I had to download every clip. Now, if I had had the Note 9 with 112, or I wish the 512 gig version, I wouldn't have had an issue downloading all of my 4K 360 degree footage. And then, of course, taking pictures, taking video. Video on the Note 9, superior 4K, 60 frames per second. You're not going to pull that off here. You don't have the super slow-mo on the Note 8. There are just, more bells and whistles is my best way of putting it. But the brass tacks, the bottom line, the cliche of cliches really just boils down to that we've got a bigger battery and, of course, an updated processor, GPU, and an S Pen that now has Bluetooth connectivity. Beyond that, you are not looking at a new game-changing device in the Note 9. You're looking at an improved game-changing device coming from the Note 8. So if I had to purchase one today, I would save the money and buy the Note 8. If you don't have either phone, of course, if you have the Note 8, I likely would not be going to the Note 9 unless you are picking up the 512 gig variant with the 8 gigs of RAM, because that really, in my opinion, does set it apart. Granted, it may be overkill for the majority, which is why it's not being carried in store nationwide here in the States. Only the 128 gig models are that I have here for review. But I still think that it's a great handset because it's just an improvement upon what is already my favorite handset, the Note 8. So how could it be bad? Now, as I mentioned, is it a game changer? No, because I just went over everything. I mean, we still have the same 2x optical zoom on each phone for that 12 megapixel rear sensor, the variable aperture. None of that stuff has changed. So the real change, again, is just software, battery, S Pen. Software, battery, S Pen. Software, battery, S Pen. That's it. Is it worth the difference? I think so. I would rather pick this up if budget is not an issue. If budget is an issue, which it is for the majority, because that's the real world we live in, isn't it? The Note 8 is the way to go. Save the money, wait it out. You'll be glad you didn't spend over $1,000 or finance something like as if you're getting an automobile, which is just absurd. But that's the quick comparison. Both are great phones. You can't go wrong either way. The Note 9 just has a few extra boxes checked. It's definitely not the Note 10. Let me put it that way. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.